Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Sell More Book Show, episode 613. I'm Brian Cohen from Best Page Forward, joined by Quinn Ward, six-figure author, the ad school emeritus teacher, the author ad agency emeritus account manager, so many emeriti. We're going to call it emeriti.
It's like you used to do all of these things.
Yep.
That's what I just heard. Is you used to do all of this stuff. So,
yeah. Well, you're still doing something. You're still doing something.
I am.
But yeah. But yeah, very, very much ad genius, genius of many things. How are you today, Quinn?
Hanging in there, enjoying the start of the new year, and we kind of shuffled some stuff off the plate at the end of last year, and life is good now. So we're getting there at least.
We're getting to a happy place.
Exactly.
We're getting to a happy place. People love to talk to you about their books because you never hide your true feelings.
You pick on me a lot about that.
No, but obviously
it's because of how I phrase things, right? Because in order to get their attention, which I think is part of why people like talking to me about their books, is because to get their attention, I will flat out say, I don't care about your feelings, which doesn't mean I'm out to hurt you. Right. It means that at the end of the day, if it comes down to this is what the data shows, or this is how I feel about this, the data is going to win every time. And, to be fair, I need that sort of friend in my life too, right? Yes. We all need that person because just because I know the things doesn't mean I am beyond having those moments of insecurity or having those moments where it should be working. Why isn't it?
Right.
Right. Because we all succumb to those feelings. So, but I enjoy it so much. And I love when getting people out of the feelings helps them actually see something. And it's like turning on the light. So it's a good job to have.
It's a good job to have. We both like doing that. We both like making sure people see the reality of things. And we've both seen authors on the cusp of doing something great. And then they have a nervous system freak out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it happens to everybody. And part of that is just because we don't like to address this, but success is terrifying.
Oh, so scary.
Success comes with so much more pressure and everything else. Because when you're first starting out and you're writing for the love of it, life is good, right? Yes, you might have some of those what if everybody hates it moments. But when you're like right there on the cusp, the problem isn't, what if I launch this into an empty room and only 7 people buy my book? The problem is we feel like we have thousands of people relying on us to deliver another good story to them. And what happens if they absolutely hate it?
Yeah.
Right? And so I think that sometimes that fear really holds us back and really thinking too hard about, oh my God, are the readers going to absolutely hate this thing?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's, and then, even just beyond the readers, like, will the people around me think poorly of me? Will I think poorly of myself? And all the trauma and whatever you've had in your life cropping up, it all has the opportunity to impact you in that moment.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And when the reality is, that could keep us from doing something that is really going to reach somebody.
Right. And part of that is probably we're protecting ourselves from having that reach.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So, but that's the thing, is just push people off the edge of the cliff, make them fly. Seriously, because how many times have we gotten to see that? And it's so cool.
So cool. It's so cool. And it's very rare for it to drop. There's usually flight.
Yep.
There is usually flight when they take that leap.
Absolutely.
Which is a beautiful thing. So folks, we Quinn Quinn, we wouldn't have done Author Ad School or the Author Ad Agency without Quinn. There are many other people involved, but we wouldn't have done them. If you are interested in getting your ads managed by one of our wonderful account managers, we are now doing some Facebook ad management in addition to the Amazon ad management. We've got a link on the page, learn.bestpageforward.net/VSL. You can also just email us and say, Author Ad Agency, and we will help you out. I'm going to ask you this question too, Quinn, but we'll start with the people's answers. The question was, what is one craft thing that you could focus on and push yourself with your current draft in progress? Randy Landberger said, quit editing as I go, get the words/idea down, and save searching for the perfect way to say it until the next draft. Jennifer Forbes said, get on with book 2. Joe Lucan said, developing my dictation skills. I speak professionally and write about the same topics I present on, so it makes perfect sense. And Sherry Scott said, OMG, I need to just write already. Steady as she goes, break the inertia. Quinn, what's one writing craft thing that in the next book you write you could work on?
So I'm actually, I'm not a rule follower, right? You've learned this?
Oh yeah, I do know
there
this.
are two things. One of the things that I think is more aligned with what the others have answered in theirs is I have started like really breaking down and looking at how many days do I have until this thing, right? Until I need to, when is my editing date? Because then I'm even taking into account, and this is one spot where I have used chat to help me. I will dump in there. Today is X date. I need to have my book to the editor by Y date. Help me come up with a plan, right? Help me come up with a strategic plan so that the Sunday before I have to send my book to my editor, I'm not sitting there still scrambling to get the last minute edits done. And so I would even say, I want to have, a few days to do a final read through and this, that, and the other. And it'll come out. And like the first time it was great. And it said like, I could see it was trying to ease me into the week, right? Yeah. So you're not going full force on Monday, except I'm like, for me, Monday is one of my full force days on my writing career, right? And so I told it that. And so now the days that I have told it, I'm doing less of the ad agency and the coaching and everything else. Now it's added more chapters in there. So now I just have to get up and look and see, okay, today I'm working on this chapter.
Right.
Okay. Which has really been helpful because I am definitely one of those that otherwise I will wait until the last minute. But then the other quick one is, being in contemporary romance, we have this huge opportunity moment in front of us right now, which is we all have the opportunity to learn from the success of Heated Rivalry.
Yes.
And so what I've done is I actually started reading the books and watching the show, not from an entertainment standpoint, but from an analytical standpoint. Not to see what tropes did she put in or what does this character say, so on and so forth, but looking at a bigger picture, what settings, what relationship connections, so on and so forth, could I potentially be missing the mark on?
Right.
And so
it's almost like in a way they're micro tropes, but it's really like it's really the DNA of it.
Right. Well, and the thing is, like for me, I realized literally the book I'm working on right now, I'm like, you have too much of that is focused on the couple. Because when I was writing, I apparently just got in the zone and I was writing this couple.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, looking back, I can see that it was sort of falling flat. And so being able to look at my story and really, these are not your babies. These are your next product that you're putting out. And if you see a flaw in it, taking that time without being overly critical and being like, oh my God, it absolutely sucks. No, it's a great story. But how do we now enhance it to make it what it could be? So those are the two things I'm working on.
I love that you broke the rules because I really liked that second one. That was really good.
I tend to do it for good reason.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I absolutely agree. All right. So let's go into the top story of the week, Break Before Burnout. Quote, I've learned stepping away from writing can be just as important as showing up at the keyboard, but it's been a tough lesson and something I really struggle with, writes Elizabeth Spann Craig. Writer burnout has been a serious problem in the author community, more so in the past year because of the financial climate and lowered revenue that some authors are seeing. When authors experience these things, the instinct for many is to power through or try to write harder, but that often means hitting burnout when it could be avoided. Quote, I've experienced the warning signs when writing feels like a chore, when I'm just going through the motions, writes Craig. Taking planned breaks before reaching this point has preserved both my love for writing and my productivity over the long term, end quote. Craig says that the benefits of a planned break go beyond simply avoiding burnout, too. It can help to refill the well. Quote, sometimes we get our best ideas either during or after a break from our book. Taking a walk, reading, watching movies, or doing anything we enjoy has a way of recharging our creativity, end quote. A little distance can sometimes provide clarity too. When you take a step back from your book, you can return with fresh eyes, plot problem solved, and character inconsistencies more easily fixed. It's important to remember that a good life balance is key to longevity as an author. Quote, our identities shouldn't be only defined by what we produce, writes the author. My relationships, health, and experiences outside writing ultimately make me a better storyteller. After every break, I return to writing with clearer purpose and fresh energy and a lot more enthusiasm toward my work. Quinn, this doesn't resonate with any of us. Let's just move on.
Right?
We'll
Right?
take
We
a minute
never
on
deal
it.
with that.
We'll take a minute on it. What did this article make you think about?
You know, so many things. Namely the fact, boy, it would have been nice to have this article about 2 months sooner.
I
Right?
hear you.
I mean,
I hear you.
I literally, and members of our team wound up seeing it because luckily this was the time that things actually got bad enough. I had to reach out and say, I'm not okay.
Right.
But it was really, I went from, oh my God, this book absolutely sucks. There's no way I'm going to be able to have this done on time. Why am I even doing that? I mean, it was like a really big spiral, but I took a step back. And it was like an hour later that it was like getting slapped upside the face with one of Becca Syme's books, right? Which would be her burnout book, where it was like, oh, that's what it is. You're burned out right
now. Yeah.
And too often we don't pay attention to the warning signs ahead of time. We don't take the preventative measures.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden we're done, right? Because once you hit burnout, there's only one way to fix it, and that's to address it.
Yep. We need to rest. I've had my therapist force me to take 3 days fully away from any screens, and that was minimum. I had to talk him down to 3 days. We have to step away. We have to get those breaks. Going into the hot potatoes of wisdom questions, Quinn, now that you've experienced burnout, I mean, what do you think you're going to put in place to prevent it in the future?
The biggest thing is A, listening to myself, and B, setting boundaries. Right? Last year really became a year of, I was doing something every day.
Yes.
And I would feel guilty if I didn't jump into our Slack, if I wasn't doing this, if I wasn't doing that, if I wasn't, getting words done, if I wasn't marketing, all of it. I felt guilty.
Yeah.
And so I think that that's the big thing, is setting boundaries and knowing that, the Slack messages that come in over the weekend, they'll be there Monday morning when I start working.
Right.
The social media posts that I want to put out this week, I can do that Monday. Remember, I said there's a reason that Monday is now my focus day.
Yeah.
And that's because that allows me, yes, I can focus on Monday, but that allows me freedom on Saturday and Sunday.
Right.
And so really just setting boundaries and taking time to figure out, what do you even like to do?
Yeah.
Right? Because sometimes writing, so many of us started as a passion thing.
Mm-hmm.
I love writing. Writing is my hobby. Well, guess what? Now your hobby became your business. And so that means I'm sorry, that's no longer your hobby. It can still be something you love to do, but once it became your business, it was no longer the thing you did just for the fun of it.
Now you need a new hobby. You need something that helps you recharge that creative energy, and researching for your next book doesn't count.
No, it doesn't. I mean, honestly, that's a huge part of why I started doing cookie decorating,
Ah,
because it's something artistic that I can push myself to learn new things because just I've got intellect and learner in my Clifton
mm-hmm,
Strengths top 5.
mm-hmm.
I need I need that, right?
Yeah,
And so decorating cookies became something that, the first time I sat down, I had never done something like this. And so it became that fun thing to do. But you know what? That's also the reason that I have made the conscious decision that will never be a business for me.
no,
Would I sell some of them? Absolutely, because you can only eat so many cookies.
yes,
But it's going to
but
be like a fund it, right? It's going to be
mm-hmm.
pay for your ingredients. It's not going to be put a kid through college money,
Right, exactly,
you
exactly.
know?
Yeah, that's
So
awesome. Good thoughts there. You've got a question here for me in the hot potatoes of wisdom section.
I do. So have you experienced burnout? And what did you do to recover?
I've definitely experienced burnout, and I've had also some close calls. I think that, much like you mentioned earlier, you have to ask for help. You have to ask for help because you're digging yourself out. You don't want to dig yourself deeper.
Mhm.
You really do need to rest. I'm a big fan of exercise. I'm a big fan of time outside. I'm a big fan of fully disconnecting in order to truly get to that level where you're out of burnout. But I am a person who likes to be very connected and likes to keep on top of everything. And
Right.
so it ends up being very, very difficult when I get to burnout to get out of it. And so I really need almost like the whole village around me to stop me from working in order to get fully out of it.
Yeah. Well, you bring that up, and really, isn't that the crux of it? Like, how many
Mm-hmm.
of us, when we hit burnout or when we even feel like it's coming, how many of us feel ashamed to reach out to our people?
Right.
Right.
So
And
many.
like for me, I have so many people that rely on me
Mm-hmm.
that I didn't want to feel weak to them. You know what? Reaching out, nobody, not a single person judged me for it.
Right.
And I think that we all need to remember that is if you've curated your community, they want to help you. You just
Yeah.
have to be willing to say, I need the hand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's absolutely 100%. So you do not have to white knuckle something on your own. You do not.
Exactly.
Um, we're going into the lightning round, Quinn, which means at least one person's favorite part of the show. Time for a lightning sound.
All right, let's see. Lightning doesn't really make noise, does it? But we'll go with
Oh, I like it. I like
good
it.
little sizzly lightning.
Yeah, that sizzly lightning just coming in
I
there.
love sizzly
Um,
lightning.
so back matter is one of the first areas you tend to see authors struggle. We've talked ad infinitum about what good back matter should be, but what's the why? Why do you think authors have such trouble with the few lines after a story ends?
I think a lot of times from what I've seen, it becomes an oversight. They
Mm,
don't give it the respect that it deserves. I
mm,
mean, this is like the absolute hottest moment for most readers,
yes,
right? Because theoretically, if they got all the way to the end of your book, they liked it.
right.
If they liked it, you want to give them something more. And so really focusing on that and how do I recommend something to them, right?
Mm,
Because then the next thing is authors will be like, "Hey, such and such book is coming next. How excited are you about that?" Seriously, like how
right.
excited are you to hear, think about if Grey's Anatomy back in the
Hmm.
heyday,
Hmm.
it was not there's another episode next Thursday.
Yeah.
It was on the next episode of.
Oh, yeah.
And it gave you that cliffhangery moment that made you go, holy crap, I need to clear my schedule so that because I don't want to wait until it comes around on reruns. Right. And that's what that moment is meant for, is you want to suck them in and make them say, I need to start reading this now. And really just, that's the big thing, is they don't focus on it in the way it should be.
Right. I love that. That's great. I've watched every episode of Grey's Anatomy ever, including I just last night caught up on the mid-season finale. So your example resonated with me.
You were not able to be there with me when we were out in Seattle, and I got to go to Meredith Grey's house.
I know. Oh, I know. Next time.
There you go. Next time. Well, yes, definite goals. Putting that out there, right?
Yeah, I love it. All right, you've got a question here for me.
Yes. So how should nonfiction authors treat their back matter differently from what fiction authors do?
Right, because nonfiction, there isn't a hot next story for them to read necessarily. You may have multiple nonfiction books, but it's not necessarily as big of a thing. A lot of the time, it's about a reframing of the problem they came to your book to get solved. If they feel like they need a helping hand with this, they can get this additional resource. If they feel like they need someone to look over their shoulder, they can get coached on this. If they feel like they need to watch videos on it, they can take the course. And this is something that nonfiction authors have at their disposal that fiction authors don't necessarily have. You can sell other things than just books. And so as a result, you can absolutely promote your other products, your other things. And this is what makes Amazon ads. We've actually started bringing on more nonfiction coaches into the agency, people who have bigger products to sell. They don't even have to break even on the books if someone goes and pays them $5,000 for a speaking engagement, if someone pays them $20,000 for a consultation. They can lose money on the ads, frankly, and still end up having it work. But in order for that to happen, the book and the back matter need to be optimized for readers to purchase those additional products.
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
Woo-woo. Quinn, you've run millions of dollars worth of ads for people. What do you think is the hardest thing for authors to figure out about Amazon ads?
One of the big things that I see people struggle with is getting the ads moving.
Oh.
Right? Because there was a time when you could start up an ad and a lot of times they would go ahead and start picking up.
Right.
But now that's not necessarily the case as much, partly because so many more people are advertising their books.
Yep.
And so it's like, what can you do to prime the pump? What can I do to get Amazon ready, to make Amazon realize my book is worth you advertising? Because at the end of the day, they're going to do what they can to make money for Amazon. It's the way businesses run, right?
Right.
And so they want to advertise something that's easier to connect or to convert, because what they're looking for isn't the ad click. It's the purchase.
Yep.
Right. And so doing things like making sure your metadata is optimized, making sure that your blurb is, appeals to customers, sharing about it on social media. I have actually started, when we're going to start promoting a backlist book, start doing some social media on it the week ahead, because even getting a sale or two is going to show Amazon that people are interested. And then it becomes easier.
I love that. That's really good advice. Awesome. You got a question for me?
Yes. So what tends to be the first aha moment authors have when they figure out Amazon ads?
So I think that the first thing I see people figure out that sets them on a path, like there's lots of different aha moments I think people can have. I think the first aha moment, and we're dealing with several agency clients right now who haven't had this aha moment, the realization that, oh, more of the sales are coming from the ads than I thought.
Yep.
And that can be a huge turning point. We've got one client right now I'm thinking of who says, oh, well, it's my Facebook ads. Oh, well, it's this book club feature deal I had last month. Oh, well, it's this launch of a totally unrelated title. That's why my sales are up. Yep. It's not because of these ads that are showing tracked sales and tracked KU reads. It's not because of the ads. It's because of everything else. And I think that's like, there must be like some psychological defense mechanism there to a certain extent. Sure. But for the most part, if you have the opportunity to really just realize, oh, maybe 50% or 60% or whatever percent are coming from these ads, you get control. You have the ability to control. And some of our biggest clients, like LJ Andrews, for instance, like when she realized, oh, I make this X every time I spend $1, she was just like, okay, I will then do that.
Right.
And I will then make these things happen, and I will have big publishing deals that happen, because she just said, oh, I like this truth better than some of the other truths I used to believe. So I'm going to go with the truth that allows me to make X amount of money. And then it just kept working because it was the truth.
Well, and you know, I mean, that's why so at the beginning of the episode, we were talking about how I'm always going to be that brutally honest friend.
Yep.
That's why I will eventually reach a point where if somebody truly believes that their Amazon ads are not doing anything,
yeah,
I'll recommend we turn them off. Just turn them all off. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying it in a passive aggressive way. Right. Again, the data needs to be our guide. And so if you truly believe that your Amazon ads are not doing anything for you, let's turn them off.
Yeah.
You know, whether I'm running them or whether you're running them on your own, shut them down.
Yeah.
And you know, two things typically happen. Most of the time, either the person's like, well, I don't want to do that. Right? Like, why would I turn off my ads? Well, you said they weren't working. Well, but maybe they are. Okay, cool. Great. And the other one that happens quite frequently is, okay, let's turn them off. Wait. We turn those off. Can we turn them back on now?
Yeah. After like a day or like 6 hours.
Within the first week, they're like, oh, that was actually doing so much more than I thought. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah. I'm even running, look, and I think it applies to Facebook too. I'm running some Facebook lead generation ads for a webinar we have coming up, which I guess I should mention. We're doing a class later this month.
You know, womp. I've heard that usually helps.
3 ways to scale your book sales. Go check it out. But I'm running ads to it. And the ads today say they have gathered 10 leads. And we're looking to spend a certain amount per day. And I'm like, oh, that's not a great cost per lead based on how much I'm spending. But then I look over at the email and it's gathered 109 leads. And I say, well, 100 was my goal. So if I'm just looking at the numbers just on Facebook or just on Amazon or just on wherever, and I just look at the pure numbers, but I'm hitting my goal when it comes to dollars and cents and cost per lead, whatever, then it's like, who cares what is showing up as tracked? I'm hitting the goal. Yep. That's what's important. And I think it's that almost like that dichotomy of having both ideas present at the same time that causes some people challenges.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Last question of the lightning round. Quinn, I don't know what you're going to answer on this one. So I was excited to ask you this. Did you learn any lessons in 2025 that you think will lead to changes here in 2026?
Honestly, the big one is you can't do it all. And not everything is worth taking on. right?
Mm-hmm.
And there are things that are worth taking on that eventually.
Yeah.
There are a lot of things I would like to do. The problem is I tried doing too many of them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not sustainable, right?
Yeah.
And so really this year being more focused and more intentional with why am I doing this particular thing?
Yeah.
Right? And so that's kind of the lesson that we learned last year and what we're trying to remember this year.
I love, love, love that. You know, I'm a big fan of delegation, so I love
Absolutely.
that. Awesome. We need a question of the week. Quinn, do you have any thoughts on what you'd like to ask?
You know, yes, because we're talking about like lessons that we learned and taking things into 2026.
Yeah.
What are you leaving behind?
Ooh.
What have you realized is kind of that anchor around your ankle? You know, that weight that you're dragging along because you think that you should be, that's really holding you back from reaching that next level.
To let go of that's been holding you back. So what are you leaving behind in 2026? What do you want to let go of that's been holding you back? Such a good question. You guys can answer the question of the week over at the Sell More Book Show After Party Facebook group or sellmorebookshow.com. I forgot to mention this at the top. I have a new podcast.
Hey,
There's so many things I just did not mentioning. Like, we have a class. Oh, I have a new podcast. It's called Joy Made Millionaire. And it is for all business owners, authors, entrepreneurs, coaches, consultants, talking about that intersection of happiness and profitability. And it'll be a little bit woo-woo. It'll be a lot of fun. Go to joymademillionaire.com to register to get notifications. And we're going to do a live stream every week. So you can ask me questions. This guy. Awesome. Quinn, it has been a delight having you on the show.
Thanks for asking me. It's been, like I said, it's been a long time. I don't know that I've done one of these with you since I moved back up to Wisconsin. So
I know. It's awesome to have you back. You'll be back next week too. If you like romance, go find Quinn Ward's books everywhere good books are sold. If you want to get some ads managed, come to the Author Ad Agency, email us. We run Amazon. Some of our account managers run Facebook as well. We'd love to have you. For Quinn Ward, I'm Brian Cohen. Have a great week of book selling, everybody. We'll be back next week for episode 614. Bye.
All right. See you later.